Let's bring in Ukrainian MP Inna Sovsun. Inna, thank you very much for joining us today on this very somber occasion.
Thank you for having me.
How does it feel with the war entering the third year? What are you thinking about today?
Well, first of all, I probably have to specify that the war is ongoing 11 years right now because the war initially started in 2014 with annexation of Crimea and the start of the war in Donbass. So my son is 11, and we are now starting 11th year of war. Basically, all his life, he's been living under war. And that is terrifying to think of. But of course, the last 2 years with a full-scale invasion has been most difficult. And if you ask me to describe with one word how I'm feeling, I think I'm feeling tired. And so is everybody else. This is extremely tiring experience. People are exhausted. Living through this is terrifying, is extremely difficult. And of course, it's not something that anybody can be prepared for. But at the same time, I'm grateful to be alive. And that happened primarily because of the bravery of the Ukrainian soldiers, but also because the West, after all, stepped in and started helping Ukraine, thus allowing us to survive up until this somber date, indeed.
Two questions out of that. The first one, you say you're tired, but how is morale? Do people remain resolute?
Yes, people are resolute. And if you ask me why, I think that the single answer to that question would be we all realize that this is an existential war for us. If we stop fighting, if we give up, we will not exist as an independent state. We will not exist as a country that we are trying to build, as a democracy, as a country where human rights and human dignity are respected. So we simply do not have the right to give up. So despite being extremely tired, despite being exhausted, people are not ready to give up. People are not ready to give up on our territories and not ready to give up on the people who ended up under occupation. So yes, we are continuing to fight, and that is the prevailing feeling over here. And an absolute majority of Ukrainians are willing for us to continue the fight against this unjustified aggression.
And you saw the Prime Minister and other world leaders in Kyiv today. Any concern about Western fatigue in support of Ukraine?
Huge concerns, truly, because we do not see that the level of support from our Western allies matches that of the Russians' attempt to continue with this war effort. So the West is well, be it because they're a democratic state, so they negotiate and they try to come up with the solutions inside their countries, because they do not fully realize the level of threat that the whole world order is under. Unfortunately, the level of support is not matching Russia's aggression, particularly the last half a year, unfortunately, with the US dragging on the decision to continue military support to Ukraine. This has led to extremely dramatic results on the front line. We have never had the same amount of weapons as Russians did, but over the last half a year, we have been losing the number of weapons that has been delivered over 2022, the first half a year of 2023, while Russians have been building up their arsenal. So unfortunately, right now, we are at a situation as we were 1 year ago, exactly, because of the last half a year when support was not being delivered in the amount that was promised to us. So unfortunately, this is a huge concern to all of us, and we really, really hope that, well, especially the Americans will come to some agreement and will, after all, realize that supporting Ukraine in this military effort is in the interest of the United States primarily and the West in general.
Can Ukraine win without that support, and what does victory look like for you?
Well, the second question is easier. Victory is regaining full control of our territory, as recognized by international law, as recognized by international organizations, as recognized by other states. There is no other victory unless there is a single Russian soldier on our territory. If that would be the case, that would mean that we lost, that democracy lost, that the world order as it was built after World War II has lost. Can we win without Western support? No, we cannot. just like the Allies couldn't have won without American support in World War II. That is very much the similar situation. The British, the French, all of them had to rely on American supply and weapons to fight against Hitler. And this is exactly the same situation, because not a single country, be it Ukraine, Canada, France, Poland, whoever, would not be able to fight alone against such a big army as Russian army is. That is why we very much hope that this support will come, just like it did in World War II, and we would be able to fight back. My concern is that it might take very, very long, and we are losing lives of our soldiers and civilians with every day of this war effort. And this is the price that unfortunately we have to pay, because the decisions are not being made about supplying weapons to Ukraine.
And before I let you go, what will you be doing today on this anniversary?
Well, it was a very hard day for me to wake up, to think back about everything that has been happening. What I am trying to do today is to spend as much of my day with my son as possible, because 2 years ago, he was taken away to the west of Ukraine, and I remember feeling extremely terrified that I didn't know when I will see him again, or if I will ever see him again. So I'm trying to maybe overcompensate by spending this whole day with him as much as possible, apart from my work obligations, of course.
Okay, and I hope you managed to find some joy with him today. Thank you for joining us.